Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Rachel Freeman Towers live show. I am I know I say this every single week, but really there's rarely a week when I'm not excited when I have a guest, because you know the women that I bring on here are so kick-ass, and tonight is going to be insane. So if you have seen the StreamYard or the announcement, you'll see how we are really kindred spirits who never knew each other really before. We were just in this one common Facebook group, and one time I had responded to be a guest on her podcast, and that's really how I met her just so recently, and we've hit it off. And Lord, if you're like, hey, it's us, well, you're gonna know that that is going to be some pretty off the chain shiz happening tonight. Okay, I'm just excited. I'm just a whole ball of energy over here. It's like, yeah. Okay, so I just want to say thank you again for being here. And tonight's topic is really about my guest has this driven and strong desire to help women who are wanting to really ignite the second half of their life. And if you have thought, if you are in, I guess, the second half, I mean, listen, I'm almost 50. I'm not ashamed to share it. In fact, I just rode 14 miles the other day. So bring it on. Seriously. If you are in this second part of your life and you may feel like I've done everything for everybody else, or you may feel I don't even know myself anymore. Maybe there's times and you're like, what the heck am I doing? I love my family, but yet I'm yearning for something that's myself, that's for me, that really just nurtures my soul. Tonight is for you. And let me tell you, if you're on the other side of this screen and you're like, hey, my life's good, I don't need it. Well, who in the heck doesn't want more good? I mean, I'm just going to break it down. Who doesn't want more good? Who doesn't want more greatness? Why do we have to put a cap on it? I mean, let's just really find out how we want to be living. My name is Rachel Freeman Towers, if you don't already know, and I am a video and business strategist, and I work with female entrepreneurs who are really looking to be more bold in the expression of their business, their mission, and themselves in their businesses and with video. So if you're a female entrepreneur out there who's like, I want to get in front of video, I'm not sure how to do it, or maybe you're in a part in your business like, I'm not sure what even I would do video about, feel free to reach out to me. So I want to get started. I really want to wait for more people to log on, but I'm not going to, because there is a lag and you will see it for sure. So let me start this. Okay. I want to encourage you to take notes tonight and what touches your heart. Tonight is going to be different with my guest. My guest and my new friend is Lori Wright. Like I said, we met on Lori's podcast. It's called Not Your Average Life. If you want to go listen to that, it's episode 119. Go listen. I share things I've never shared before. I shared them with Lori. It was a great experience. Lori is known as Not Your Average Grandma. She's the founder of the Second Half Spark School. Her mission is to help women at midlife or older who feel unfulfilled. Just check within yourself. Now that their kids are gone, or discover their late in life purpose, and in doing so, find themselves so that they can live out the rest of their life doing what brings them deep joy in a way that they likely have never known. If you're wanting to experience deep joy, I really want to have you help me welcome my guest, Lori Wright. I'm going to bring her on. Give us some thumbs up and hearts when you join us. Hey! It's like,
hello. Hello. Are you standing up, by the way?
I am standing. Yes.
Oh, me too. How cool is that?
Get the energy going. I mean, I saw you digging it in the music.
Yeah. You're like, I feel like my line is crooked back there, but oh well.
No, you're good. It's all good. Yeah. So welcome again. Thank you very much for being a guest here on the Rachel Freeman Towers live show. Let's start out with, what do you do? Who do you serve? And why did you start your business?
Yeah, so lots of great questions. Thank you, first of all, for having me, Rachel. You was really fantastic. And, I reached out to Rachel because I don't often listen to my episodes, but for some reason I went, I have an editor and I just let him do his thing. But I went and listened to yours on a walk. And I was so like, I loved that episode so much. And I immediately messaged her and I said, it's like one of the best episodes. I think we really had real talk. And I felt like you were very articulate, and I do have a lot of filler words, and they drive me crazy. I'm sure you get that on video a lot with people, and you were so no filler words. I was very impressed. So thank you for having me. I help women, mostly over 50, who are empty nesters. A lot of my clients are mostly empty nesters. And what I help people who are the old me. That's what I do, because I found a way to amazing purpose and impact late in life. And I flailed my whole first half of my life. I flailed just listening to my logic brain and not following my gut and not following my heart. And and I'm a very positive person. And I think in some ways, maybe it kept me from finding more purpose or my true purpose, because I was just happy, I was a happy person, but something was always missing. But my kids filled it up for so long because I loved being a mom. I was a corporate person. I had a full-time job. I was the breadwinner of the family, but I never missed a kid's soccer game. I never missed a basketball game. I had 2 daughters and they were very involved in sports, and I loved them. And one day they were gone.
So can anyone else relate? Put it in the comments, yes, if you can relate, because I know a lot of you out there can. Keep going.
Yeah. So I say it's like the human form of an earthquake. That shakes you to your core. And for me, I have some people that are like, the empty nest is coming. I know what's going to happen. I was like so like oblivious. And when they were in college, it was still like they were attached. They would come home. They would be home for the whole summer, and so I got to be. I was a young mom. So at 47, my youngest graduated from college, and she was moving out, and it was like, I am in an unhappy marriage. I don't really like my job. In fact, my ex-husband, he wasn't even we weren't even living together. He was living in another town, and we would see each other on weekends. And so it was kind of like a brother-sister relationship, I say. Great guy. I mean, and that's what made it really hard too, because I wanted something more for myself. And I felt it was really selfish for wanting that, but I wanted to go explore. I had, and I say to people, you're really afraid to make a big change. You're really afraid, and you sit in this fear because that's all you know. It's like your comfort zone. Go outside. It's like the unknown, and the unknown has got to be bad because we put all the bad things in our mind about what's out there, right? But I got to the point where it was like, I don't care if I die. I don't care if I die, because at least I will be working on something better. At least I will be searching for something better. And I'd rather die in my quest of something better than sit here and die, in an unhappy marriage and a job I don't like, and a home that, I wasn't, thrilled with. So, And so it was kind of I felt I had zero passion. And I think really at the time, because it is a journey, right? It's just, you have that recognition and you're like, okay, I'm ready. It's like, it's not like all of a sudden, like everything drops into your lap, Right. You keep being intentional about what you want. And so I think at first I was like, well, I just want to have somebody who loves me. I want somebody, I want that kind of passion. And I didn't realize, so I was looking externally instead of internally. So I was like, So
now all of you know why she's here. Just a little FYI, right? This is the message all the time. Another reason I think why we've meshed. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. And so I was just like, I was very fortunate because I did find passion in a soulmate that it was a rekindle. So that's a whole other story we probably don't have time for. But yeah, so I found my old boyfriend from college.
Well, hey, whatever works.
I never forgot him. He was, his stuff was in a box in my furnace room, and I forget him for a while, and then we'd move it to a new house, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I should throw this stuff away. And I was like, I don't really want to throw it away. So that's an example of kind of like something that's in your gut that you just like. And so I finally decided to, and so we broke up back when I was 20 and he was 22, and I, on the rebound, met my ex-husband, my husband at the time. And so I ended up, we got married in 8 months. I was like, we got to get married, because, if we don't get married, this old boyfriend's going to come back, and then I'm going to do something really stupid because I'm going to probably end up marrying him, and like, that's going to be not good. But like the day I got married, I remember walking down the aisle and feeling like, I was doing the wrong thing. I thought the person that I truly, really did love, then I was just trying to like rinse out of my heart. So anyways, fast forward 27 years and I'm like, okay. So I did what, kind of like what they say never to do is like, I drank too much at a wedding, and then I went back to my hotel and I drunk Googled him. Googled him.
No more drunk dialing. Now we're drunk Googling.
Drunk Googling. Yeah. And who knows what I would have found on Google, but I could have found a different, like Mike Wright, Mr. Wright. Yeah. So I found who I thought it was and put a phone call out there, and a few days later, we didn't live in the same town, but we lived a couple hours apart. And a few days later, we got together for lunch, and we've been together ever since. So that was like really crazy. So, but eventually the honeymoon's over, right? That's like the external thing, like just like kids, they're your passion, but they're external. They leave. And I think a lot of people, and some people might get mad at me for saying this, but I think some people overcompensate with their grandchildren. And they and I know they want to help, but sometimes I think that it's just like continuing the cycle of just wanting to be a mom and I love being a grandmother. I have 6 grandchildren. So, and I love them. But I want to have my own thing, and I want them to have their own thing, and I want to be a role model to them to have their own thing.
Well, you and I both know that we're in patterned ways of being, like those patterned behaviors, and really we will continue those until we disrupt them. Yeah. Right? Until like you have had this experience of being like shaken to your core. Yeah. So I agree with you.
Yeah. So we got together, and I got another job. I moved a couple hours. I moved to where he lived, found another job I didn't like, And then what happened, and I think for a while, I just put everything, I like finding passion on hold because I was temporarily medicated with that romance. And then my daughter got involved with Beachbody, and she said, Mom, you want a challenge pack? So, which is what you do at Beachbody. I needed to lose 10 pounds. So I was like, I wanted to help my daughter. So I was like, sure. And I will buy that from you, and I will do the workouts. And I ended up getting in the best shape of my life at age 55.
Amazing.
Yeah. So Tony Horton was a big influence for me, like 55 years old. And I was about to turn 55. And I was like, oh my gosh, did my first pull-up ever. I never even in a million years imagined I would be able to do that. Can't do one today, but I did one when I was 55. I need to get back into it. But anyways, so she ended up saying, Mom, you should help other people. And I was like, that's so sketchy. It's a network marketing company, And so I was like, totally, dissed her for even asking me. I look back, I feel bad, but I was just like, I had a lot of bad experience with network marketing people. But what happened in that moment, or in that like 3-month period of me transforming, something got triggered inside. And it was this desire to help people. It was this desire to help women who didn't think they could do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And And so that was the little fire that was lit inside of me totally by accident, because I never even thought, I don't know if your audience, people are like this. You hear stories of, like, my coach has a story of, when I was, 6 years old, I was watering a friend's or a neighbor's, I was getting paid to water a neighbor's lemon trees. And I was like, oh, I could sell those. And then he went door to door, like 6 or 7 years old, selling lemons. And I'm like, I never really had that. Like, that entrepreneurial spirit never really existed. Because I think I grew up in a world where, it was white men in the boardroom. You go in and it's like Harvard, Stanford, blah, 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 whatever. And so they were the power people in the corporate where I was corporate, and entrepreneurs weren't much of a thing. It was like, entrepreneurs, maybe you have a store, or something like that. But the whole internet introduced a whole different element for us, which really turned me on. And I think because I have a background in the tech, so I ended up working at AOL. So like, I was at the very ground beginning of internet. And so it's funny how I started there, and then now kind of the internet thing is just kind of what I do, because all my business is digital. And so I think that whole Beachbody experience. And so what I ended up being a coach and doing that thing for 4.5 years. I did that for 4.5 years, and winning the prizes and the trips and stuff. But ultimately, I always had this desire, because I would work with people and then they would lose weight. And then I'd see them a year later and they'd be like totally off the wagon, weight gain back. And I was like, no, I want to help them in here. I want to help them in here. So like the whole Beachbody experience was just like a little stepping stone. I say it was my business on training wheels. But I always thought there was something else out there. I had some training background in the corporate world. I did would put together training materials, and I was a project manager. So I worked with teams. I love to work with people, and especially diverse people. I remember I would like to work with the biggest oddballs, like I remember sometimes software developers, they can be kind of like weird. And I would find the weirdest ones. And I would it would be my mission to get them to change their attitude and to be a part of the team and all that kind of stuff. So I always really liked, the diverse teams and the connecting, teams to each other. Working with the marketing people, working with the QA people, working with the uppity ups in the company and stuff, which I actually became. I ended up getting promoted to vice president, and I was sitting in that boardroom with all those people, and I'm like, I do not belong. I didn't even finish college. I left college because of my broken heart for my boyfriend. So anyways, that's another story too. So so Beachbody kind of was my stepping stone into, there's more to this online business thing. And I went to I was always very curious about business conferences and I have no problem going anywhere on a plane by myself. I think it's so much fun. And so I went to this conference and it kind of shifted my thinking. And it was you need different, it was really, there was a lot of network marketing people at the conference, but it was Chalene Johnson's thing. And she does this MIA thing. And she said, you need different revenue streams. So what are you going to do? What are your ideas? And it was very much of a hands-on get to work conference instead of a just rah conference. And I came home and within 30 days created an online course. So I didn't know what the F I was doing. I remember I knew how to run ads because I'd done that with Beachbody, but I didn't know anything about messaging. My ad was a picture of a computer screen and the name of the course. It was and so anyways, I was that didn't work, but I started taking steps and I never stopped. I think that's really important
a lot of times, like you've already said, the fear really holds us back. The fear of the what if, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And both you and I know, because Lori does have some very education around neuroscience, because you guys all know this is my thing. It's my dig deep kind of thing I've been doing for years now. But it really is about how much that fear and worry take up so much of your energy and really take up so much of your brain space that you can't see the actual possibility. And so really, when you start taking any step, whatever step it is, it doesn't really matter, but taking any step is what's really going to start the process and start building that momentum. So if we fast forward to now, like I've literally known you for like a month.
Yeah.
Like that's so crazy. What impact, or it's all about, for me, bringing women on here whose businesses are wanting to make an impact and leave this legacy for people to continue to pay it forward.
Yeah.
So tell me just the heart of your business. Why are you doing this?
Because I see, you know what, I had this vision. So when I finally got serious about, okay, I want to help people. I knew I wanted to do a digital course. And so I signed up for a program that was expensive and a coach that was expensive, but I was ready to do it. Right. And I was working, and this was a side gig at the time because I was back working my corporate job again. And so I wanted to do it. And they had me go through this exercise of, so say you go into a room and it's a conference and one of the speakers at the last minute cancels. And so the host comes to you and says, okay, Lori, we need you to go up on stage. Can you fill in for 30 minutes and just get up there and just, inspire the audience? So that's what was the exercise that, on a coaching call, what would it be? What would it be? And in a minute, I knew exactly what it was. And and this is kind of like my deeper mission is, I don't want anybody to get to the end of their life and have one single regret. I don't want one person to get to the end of their life and lie on their deathbed and say, I should have. I should have called him. I should have taken that. I should have listened to my gut. I should have taken that course. I should have signed up for that, whatever. I should have gone to the island. I should have, I just don't want anybody, whatever it is. I know there's something in somebody's mind. With me, it was like, I don't want anybody to not get out. And so then when I started to think about, my whole Not Your Average Grandma came from a joke. Because I was working out and I was like, not your average grandma. I didn't even know what a hashtag was. Hashtag not your average grandma. And I was like, maybe I could use that as a Facebook name or whatever.
Those are the best ones.
Came from, yeah. But then I realized I want everybody to be not average. I don't want anybody to be watered down. I don't want anybody to settle for the life they don't want. Go after the life you deserve. And so it just became bigger than me. I don't know. It just became, a lot of us have surface wise. It's I want to do this because, I want, I want to retire my husband, or, I want to do this, or I want to, what happens when you retire your husband? What's next? You just have to well, why do you want to retire your husband? Well, I want to retire him because then he can be at home with me. Well, why do you want him to be at home with you? And And, you keep asking those deeper layer questions. And it just became very clear to me that there was a much deeper mission. This is one thing I say, and I say this in my free training that I'm doing right now, is companies have missions. They have mission statements, but I never had a life mission statement. Why? And I would go into work at AOL. I'd be like, oh yeah, we're going to change the world, the internet. We're going to make the internet I'll still remember the mission statement we had, but we're going to make the internet as as prevalent as the telephone and the television. And look where we are. It came true. Right. And we would go into the office every day and be like, yes, we're going to do what it takes, and we're going to work hard, and we're going to make our goals. And I'm like, one day it dawned on me that all my priorities in my life are my companies, my CEOs, my whatevers. And it's none of it is me being the CEO of my life and where I want it to go and where is it going to take me? And if you don't have that deeper, a lot of people like, I'm not excited, I'm not motivated, that's because you don't have a bigger mission that's beyond you. And so learning all that stuff. And I've always been, somebody who's kind of a committed. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I don't give up. I think I have a little bit of competitive streak in me, but I was never an athlete, except with my dad when we played badminton. But so I think I just persevere, and I think it becomes bigger than me. There's no stopping.
And it can be really hard to make that shift or notice what needs to happen when your entire life, and like we have things in our lives for seasons. Yeah. And really your children are in your life for a season, and the season changes, right? There's spring when they're just born, and then you have then fall is next, and maybe you go through teenage years, or maybe that's winter. I don't really know. But then comes summer again, and they fly free, and you have all these kind of analogies. But really it's hard when we stay in that same season because we're afraid we're going to miss out. And really, as you all know, it's the body's way of saying that we're safe. It's the mind and the body's way of saying that we're safe. But there comes a point in time when it just is no longer really allowing you to show up as the woman you want to be and interact in the world as you want to be. Mm-hmm. So in the last little bit that we have here, tell us a little bit about, because I was on your Facebook page because, I'm nosing around. If people don't think I'm watching you, I am watching all of you, just saying. So, and you had talked about a recent free training or something that you had done. Tell us a little bit about that, because I think that people are going to be interested in that.
Yeah. So my free training, in fact, it's going to be closing up on Friday, but if anybody is really interested, you can get in there like in the next 2 days. But I call it a video series. It's really pre-recorded videos. And you take a midlife fulfillment quiz. There's a future you visualization. So the entire video series is like 2 hours and 8 minutes. So if anybody is interested in that, you don't even have to sign up, because actually sign up's closed, but you can go to notyouraverage.com/all-access, and that'll take you there. So you can just go consume the videos, and you don't have to give me your email. I'll just do that because Rachel's nice enough to invite me here. But anyways, it's called Ignite Your Second Half Soul. And it's really just a free training that I do because I want to make a difference. And I went at some point from worrying about giving away too much as a business owner. People are like, oh, they're not signing up because I gave away too much. But I learned from my mentors who give away a lot and amazing stuff. And just because they want to help people, they want to help people transform in whatever way, just by touching their life, even if it's in a free training. So once I flipped that switch, it was it's just so much fun. In fact, we have a Facebook group, and I was in the Facebook group, and I was like, I love doing this. Tomorrow's our last night. And I'm like, I just am so sad because there's been such amazing breakthroughs and aha moments from these women. And my videos are meant to shift perspective, right? And so they're like, OMG. And my quiz will tell them where they are with fulfillment. So sometimes that's a hard kind of pill to swallow, but at least they now know. And then I give the quiz, gives them the results and what they need to do if they, test out that way. But yeah, that quiz was actually super, super fun to do. I really had fun with that. So yeah, so that's my free training. And then my school. So I have my Second Half Spark School is also open. That closes at midnight. So if you want to know anything about the school, that is the Second Half Spark School sparkschool.com. It's all spelled out, second half Spark School, all spelled out in words, no numbers or anything. Yeah. And so that is, I only open it a couple times a year. And it's a group coaching program and a course where totally transformational. So it's a busy season for me right now, but I love what I do. And I'm very excited to work with my new group of students who are coming in.
So, go and there's nothing wrong with giving Lori your email. I'm just going to say that. People sign up to my email list so that they can be inspired. If later on, people unsubscribe, it's totally fine. But I would encourage you that if this is something that really interests you, I would encourage you to sign up on her list. You can go and do all the access. I'm going to ask Lori if after this, if you'll go into the comments of this live on the Facebook or in there and just put those links in there for me.
Okay.
That would be really great, just so people can.
If they're not live anymore, it'll take you to a wait list and you can come into this one. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And the other best place to go is if you want to give me your email address and get on my newsletter, you can go to notyouraveragegrandma.com. Okay. So they can go to my website. That's also where they can find my podcast episodes and your episode. That's a really good place to go. And it's easy. It's not like, the app and what do I have to do and all that stuff. Yeah.
So now I can't go, and I know we're going longer, but that's okay. I can't go without asking you about video because, I believe anybody can do video, introvert, whatever, like it doesn't matter. Tell me just really briefly what video has done for your business.
It's a good, so my YouTube channel's really skyrocketed recently. And one of the things that I do is I got this idea from somebody who was a podcast guest, and she does video podcasting. She says, I was doing Zoom interviews with my podcast, and then I was just trashing. Well, I guess I was saving them, and my drive was giving me messages. It's full, and then I was like, delete. So it's, people with podcasts just think it's audio, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do video. So I started putting it out on YouTube, and I think for me, people connect faster when they see you on video. When they hear voice, they can get to know your stories, but when they see you, it's a totally different connection. It's a totally different. And I think with my guests, I also like to offer that so they can connect with my guests as well in that way. Sometimes my guests, I had this one guest and she's just like these gigantic dimples that were so cute. And I was like, and just when she smiled, it was like, made me happy. And I'm like, I was pointing people to the video just so they could see her dimples. And some I have had one person say, can you turn the video off? I don't have the video on, which is totally fine. Cause they might not have their makeup on or whatever. And I get that. But so video for me, I remember when I started doing video, I was doing some sort of a challenge when I was a Beachbody coach in a Facebook group. I went to go do the videos, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was so awkward. It was so awkward. You think here I am doing this, but I've done it. To talk about it's like anything, a skill that you have to learn. You just keep repeating it, keep doing it. I hated my voice. I was like, that's not me. That does not sound like me. And now my voice sounds like me. I mean, it's I don't know what our ears do. It's the weirdest thing. And so I just remember how stiff I was. And I remember watching back the videos I got to redo them. And just trying to be just a little less, more comfortable. I think nowadays with phones, people do videos a lot on phones. Maybe it's a little bit more comfortable. But what I will say about video, and I'm sure Rachel has talked about this, I told my client was wanting to go online. She's a chiropractor. So and this was in pandemic. And she's like, I want to get online. I want to do more. I said, well, she started to do these weekly things. And she's like, I just can't do this. It's so hard. And I said, well, why? Why is it so hard? She said, because it's all about me. And I said, well, it's not really all about you. That's what you're thinking. It's all about you. You're worried about what people are thinking about you. And I said, you just need, who's your favorite client? And she said a name. And I said, put her name on a sticky and stick it right on your computer screen. Mm-hmm. That is who you're talking to. So, and when you tell somebody that they're being selfish for thinking it's all about them, then they like, oh, I don't want to be selfish. You know, I want to speak to these people. So it's like, you're talking to somebody, to one person that wants to hear your message. And what we uncovered is that her mother used to like ridicule her in public. So of course, like there's all these stories, as we know in the neurocoaching, that are holding us back from doing things. But it's, if we just uncover these stories and understand what the connection is and why it's happening, like frees you. It frees. And so I loved that realization. Yeah, because I saw the light bulb go on, and then she was like, because she wanted to stop doing the lives. I was like, why you stop doing the lives? Nancy, the client, needs you. Nancy's tuning in every week. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah.
I've had people following me from the very beginning that, you know, still come and they'll get the email and they'll either listen to it, but really the video is really, and, you know, I'll say it all the time, but when people see your face, they can look in your eyes, and a lot of people say, I can't connect through the video screen. And if you can connect to yourself when you're in front of the video screen, you can connect to other people in the video screen. Well, I just want to say thank you so very much again for being a guest. Please make sure if you're watching either the live or the recorded that you go and check out Lori and at notyouraveragegrandma.com. And there's some other links that she's going to be putting in the comments after that. And so I will just end with the thing I always end at every single video. Please make sure to stay true to yourself, be kind to others, and always honor the wise woman that is within you. I will see you all next week on the next Rachel Freeman's Hours live show.
Should we like?
Oh, so we can do that. Okay, ready? Good. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to use it as a. All right. Bye, everybody. See you later.
Bye.